have to revise the Islamic knowledge. वॉशरूम से बाहर आने की दुआ सुनाए, बैतुल खुला से बाहर आने की दुआ सुनाए. Join your hands like this and look down. गुफरानका. Again repeat it. गुफरानका. ऐ अल्लाह, मैं तेरी बख्शिश चाहती हूँ. Again repeat it. गुफरानका. ऐ अल्लाह, मैं तेरी बख्शिश चाहती हूँ. Ameen. Now we have to revise the general knowledge. Name the three professions: doctor, teacher, engineer. Again repeat it. Doctor, teacher, engineer. Clear? Now we have to revise the science knowledge.
Today we are going to learn about solids and liquids. Solid and liquid are states of matter. Matter is anything that takes up space. Now, matter comes in different states or forms. There's solid, there's liquid, and there's gas. Today we are focusing on solids and liquids and how to classify them. We're going to start with solids. Matter is a solid when it has its own shape. Let's show you. So here are some examples of solids. Remember, matter is a solid when it has its own shape. Here is a coat. A coat is an example of a solid. It has its own shape. It's an interesting shape. It's the shape of a coat, but it has its own shape. It's a solid. Here's another one. Here's a laptop computer. It's an example of a solid. It has its own shape. It has its own shape. It's a solid piece of matter. Here's another solid, a scooter, an electric scooter that looks really awesome and fun to ride. Anyway, it's a solid, right? It has its own shape. It's a solid. Oh, I love making these. A paper airplane is an example of a solid. It is matter that has its own shape. It's a solid. Matter is a solid when it has its own shape. Now let's learn about liquids. Matter is a liquid when it takes the shape of its container. Here are some examples of liquids. Our first is water, and notice how we had to have it in a bottle in this picture because it doesn't have its own shape. It takes the shape of its container because water is a liquid. Here's another liquid, honey. Honey takes the shape of its container. It's not solid, it's liquid. It takes the shape of its container. It doesn't have its own shape. It's a liquid. Here's the last example of a liquid. It's coffee, and it's in this cup. It's taking the shape of the cup because it's a liquid. It doesn't have a shape. Matter is a liquid when it takes the shape of its container. Alright, so solids have their own shape, and liquids take the shape of their container.